Welcome, folks, to today's broadcast of the Brazuca E-Racing League. I am your host this lovely Saturday afternoon, April the 20th, Sterling C. Beard, joining you today from the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. But today's race is taking place all the way on the other side of the globe in Shanghai. So we've already got some folks who are out on their opening laps here, as we can see as we flip through. So everybody out right now, it looks like. Everybody using those soft tires, trying to get a good grip and move quickly through the course. Wow, it does not want me to switch to the broadcast racing view, so I'm going to have to yell over the top of this here. All right, camera type, TV type, broadcast. Everything's broadcast right now, it would seem. There we go, finally. Good grief. All right, so here we are observing Jestim Takifieni, and I believe that I may have pronounced that Faini, maybe, close to it, but it is Jestim, I did confirm. Elite Shots, so far the fastest lap, our lone British competitor, Elite Shots. All right, so in third currently, Jestim Takifieni. We are coming through the end of qualifiers. All right, here we go. So in first place with a 1 minute 32 second time, Elite Shots, followed by Soldier One Assault. Jestim in third for Team Aston Martin with a 1:32.887. Then we have a load of Brazilian competitors: Force One Paulo, Boris Doido, Hiron Pelosi. Our one Argentine today, Melo 111 for Team Ferrari, followed by Gilvin Brito, Martins Carlos, who, contrary to my assertions last week, is not my good old high school buddy Carlos. It is a different Carlos. That Carlos, I believe, races under Johnny's Bananas. Tariel in 10th. Joni Happy in 11th from Portugal, I believe. That is the Portuguese flag, not the Spanish flag. And we have Cassio 3, who appears to be representing the entire planet. So, some fun times there. Took a minute to load. I do apologize for that. We missed all of qualifying, so that is my apologies, folks. And if you hear that, that is the rumble of thunder in the background. We've got a thunderstorm, a real gully washer out here in DFW. So 2 races today, Adriano notes. Thank you for reminding me of that, Adriano. I do appreciate it. So today's, I believe, the first of 2 right here. So we're waiting for players. We'll hopefully have my connection not kick in just as the race is kicking off, but we shall see how things shake out. All right, here we are. Nominally, I note, right through the get out. Okay, so the game not really giving me much of an option here. We kick it right off, sitting here in the driver's seat with Elite Shots. Elite Shots, the field very tight behind him. Oh, we had a crash already, it looks like. So we had a spin out earlier. Couldn't quite catch which competitor that was, but we'll jump back up here to Elite Shots. Elite Shots about a little over half a second in front of Jestim. We already have a caution in Sector 1. We have one competitor, Boris Doido, split it way back from the pack. I believe Boris, might have been the person who spun out earlier. I could be wrong about that. But the pack trailing nicely here around the curves in Sector 2. Lots of sort of whiplashing around throughout this course, naturally. Everyone's swinging into the turn here, coming into Sector 3. So, still Elite Shots, followed by Jestim, followed by Soldier One Assault, Force One Paulo, Mello 111 in 5th. Mello 111 now moving up past Force One Paulo into 4th place. So, here we go, the longest straightaway of the day here in Sector 3. A chance to really put the hammer down for the racers. You can see them kind of drifting side to side a little bit, maybe trying to warm up their tires some. Let's get a look, as a matter of fact, into the details here, see what tires they are rolling with. All right, so most people using some soft tires. We have a elite shot setting the fastest lap of the day, 1:35.851. So we've got that going. Remember, this is a very short race, only 10 laps here for this particular race. So that's one of the reasons we're able to have 2 races today. So let's go ahead and re-enable telemetry and lap data and see how we're looking here. All right, now we've already got one person in the pit. Let's see, that is Gilvin Brito in the pit. Everybody else now working their way through Section 2. Boris Duito working to catch up from the back of the pack, trying to move up and catch the trail end. He's got a little ways to go to catch Cassio and Tariel. So let's go ahead and we'll pull it back a little bit here and see how things are looking. So right now we're following Soldier One Assault in the gender reveal special, as I like to call it, that trademark pink and blue. I'm sorry, I just love calling it the gender reveal special. So here he is coming around in the turn into Sector 3. So we'll see these competitors really hammer down. Soldier One Assault swinging a little bit wide there. Look at that beautiful long straightaway shot here. As Elite Shots gears down a little bit, pushes back. All right, so probably not going to see any tire changes today, I would expect. Most people rolling with this short race, 10 laps. We're going to see everybody. Elite Shots now setting a faster time, 1:33.844. That is the fastest lap today. I think Elite Shots feeling his advantage here, really going to push it, seeing if he can't push out and separate out from the pack a little bit. And he's got a little bit of space. Yestim 2.5 seconds behind. Soldier One Assault 1.9 seconds behind Yestim. So a pretty tight pack overall. The relatively quick turns and the broadcast camera maybe masking a little bit how tight this race is. As a matter of fact, all the way through 10th place, nobody is more than 2 seconds or 2.5 seconds ahead of their trailer. Boris Duito, that's the first time we come to 11th place is when we start to see it really taper out a little bit. Boris Duito 8.5 seconds behind Tariel, and Gilvin Brito 17 seconds behind Boris. Everybody except for Boris and Gilvin and Soldier One Assault using soft tires. We could see Soldier One Assault using some medium tires today. Most other folks using soft. So we are seeing here as we come into the straightaway on lap 3 in section 3, a relatively compact field, although sort of flattening out a little bit. We see most people now about 1 to 2 seconds, or about 2 seconds typically, in front of their person. But Mello and Soldier One Assault battling here as they come into the turn towards the finish line. Soldier One Assault now in 4th, Mello in 3rd. So Mello making a move, moves up just past the Soldier One Assault. So up front we now see Elite Shots really trying to push his advantage. Soldier One Assault flipping places again in the gender reveal special with Mello 111. And we are on lap 4 out of 10, so we are almost halfway done with the first race of the day. This is a true sprint. That's one of the reasons why you're not seeing people really pit. It's one of the reasons why they are not taking time to swap out tires. It's one of the reasons why everybody, or the vast majority of the field today, using soft tires, as you might expect. So we can see them here flying throughout turns in section 2. Some decent action here up front, but let's go ahead and we will take a look back further in the pack as we get to 8th place, 9th place, and 10th place. Hiram Pelosi, Martins Carlos, and Tariel battling for each other. Maybe the most contested portion of the field here. So Hiram Pelosi about 2.9 seconds behind Cassio, but Martins Carlos just 2 seconds behind, and Tariel 1/10 of a second behind Martins Carlos here as they sort of turn around going into the straightaway in Sector 3. So here we go. Johnny Happy, as a matter of fact, in 6th place, pushing his overtake a little bit for a few seconds there. About 3.53 seconds behind Force One Paolo, who is about 3 seconds behind Mello 111. Mello 111, 2/10 of a second here behind Soldier One Assault. Right in his 6 o'clock position, makes a move to the inside, And Soldier One Assault hits the turbo himself, gets the angle, manages to force his way out in front of Mellow 111. So not much of an opening there. Mellow 111 had a split-second chance, but Soldier One Assault able to slam the door, now trying to push and extend his lead over Mellow 111. All right, so coming into the turn, both these racers taking the racing line. Mellow 111 still doggedly hanging on there. Soldier One Assault trying to find ways to slam the door on Mellow 111, push him back a little bit further. Mellow 111, though, hanging in there. Up front, it has been nothing but elite shots here in the car that reminds me of the Jacksonville Jaguars with that gorgeous aquamarine or blue-green color scheme. All him out front. Oh, excuse me, that was Justin Faini, excuse me. So I apologize. Elite shots here in the Arctic White. All right, we've got a penalty on Tario for multiple warnings, the 3-second time penalty. So cruising, though, so far is Elite Shots. Yestim Takifaini, 4 seconds behind, 4.5 seconds behind. Whoa, exceeded the course limits a little bit there for Elite Shots, but he gets back on track, heading through the checkered line. 6 laps down, heading into lap number 6 here. So we are more than 50% of the way done with the race. As a matter of fact, we are exactly 60% of the way done with the race. So let's jump back here and we will check out Yestim. Yestim, like I said, in that Jacksonville Jaguars looking car. Pushing through, trying to catch up, at about 4.5 seconds behind Elite Shots. Elite Shots really pressing his advantage today, not going to give Yestim any chance if he can help it. Yestim, of course, about 2 seconds or 2.6 seconds ahead of Mello. Mello falling behind a little bit here, and the gender reveal special, Soldier One Assault, right on his tail, sticking very close to that 6 o'clock position, almost identically. Now we're seeing him push up a little bit. Is Soldier One Assault. Let's take a look at this from Soldier One Assault's perspective. All right. Soldier One Assault pushing the overtake for a second here. Back down into second gear as they go through the chicanes late in section 2. We'll see if he tries to make a move here with his medium tires on Mellow 111 as they head into the straightaway. Not really seeing much of a ground shift, about half a second behind. Starting to catch up a little bit, 0.4, 0.3. Okay, here we go. Trying to push up, gets right into his 6 o'clock position. Almost tapped him with a left tap at the end, had to brake. That might give Mello a chance to push out and extend a little bit further. We'll see how that is going. Meanwhile, up ahead we have Yestim, who is 4 seconds behind Elite Shots, but comfortably in front of Mello 11 by about 3 seconds. So you can see here as we work through the chicanes, Yestim not even, Mello not even visible from Yestim's position. Let's check a little bit further back in the course as we check out Casio, who is just 1.5 seconds or so behind Joni Happy, 94. We can see here in 7th place. Now we have not had any crashes, we've not had any wrecks. There hasn't been any caution cars out on the field today. A very quick race thus far. Elite Shots, again, owning first place since he had pole position. We got a caution in Sector 1. Not sure what that's about, but it was a few cars back. We'll see here what happened. Doesn't look like we were going to be able to get back in time to catch it, but I believe it might have been on Boris Doito. Let's check the race director real quick and see what our incidents are for. So we've had quite a few early collisions there. Hiram Pelosi collided early on with Yestim Taki Faini, followed by Yestim with a collision with Hiram Pelosi. So both given warnings for that. Gilvin Brito with a collision with Mello 111 and Martins Carlos with a collision with Boris Doito. Again, early on the first lap. Everything else so far has been exceeding track limits. We did have a collision in lap 2 with Hiram Pelosi with Tariel, so that resulted in a warning. Everything else a warning. The only other notices today here that really worth noting, Tariel getting a multiple warnings, 3-second penalty on lap 5. But folks, we are into lap 8 so far, and we have gone multiple laps now without any sort of cautions or warnings. So a relatively clean race today. Of course, it being short, it being a sprint, just 10 laps. Maybe that's not so surprising. Elite Shots with a hammer lock on that first place position, really not looking to give anybody else an opportunity to slip through or get past him. 7 laps in, he's got soft tires still, but with such a short race and no adverse weather conditions, not a surprise that he's choosing to sit there with those soft tires, as again the majority of the field has chosen to do. So we continue this, folks. We are heading into lap 9 here shortly. Elite Shots, again, the field having sort of lengthened out with no caution cars. We're not seeing any stack ups. We're not seeing the field compress at all. So again, a very clean race. But now Yestim Takifaini now about 5.2 seconds behind Elite Shots. Mello about Mello 111 about 4 seconds behind Yestim Takifaini. Soldier One Assault in the gender reveal special still pushing. Now we do have a caution flag out in sector 2. Let's see what that was about. I think that might have been something involving Boris Doito and Gil Van Brito. So we'll check that real quick with the race director. Let's see if we were correct here. So we'll scroll down. Yes, Boris Doito exceeding track limits. So not a direct thing. So that being the flag there on Boris Doito, he has not received a penalty yet. But we do have a penalty flag out now on Tariel. Tariel in 9th place relatively comfortably. Martins Carlos trails him by about 8.6 seconds. So we have Elite Shots still out in front. Yestim Takifaini about 5 seconds behind. We are into lap 9. So this race very close to being wrapped up. A very short sprint today. All right, so Elite Shots into sector 2, 31 seconds. We'll see if he's able to, again, set the fastest lap. He's done so multiple times today. And with that pole position that he had, has just grabbed first place, grabbed that brass ring, and has refused to let go. So everybody about 3 seconds behind each other. Of course, Soldier One Assault still doggedly following Mello 111. Mello 111 not giving Soldier One Assault any room to maneuver here to get around. So very tight race. As a matter of fact, I believe this is the tightest in any portion on the racetrack, with just about 1 second separating those folks. Hiram Pelosi trailing Casio by about a similar amount, 1.4 seconds. So we can see here from Hiram Pelosi's perspective as they whip around the chicane here, or rather the turn followed by the loop into section 3. We are on lap 9 out of 10. We are about to be on lap 10 out of 10 as soon as Elite Shots passes that checkered line. And here we go, folks. We are into lap 10. Elite Shots, 9 laps here on these tires. Nobody even close to him as he downshifts, getting through that first turn down into 3rd gear. Yestim Takifaini about 4.9 seconds. So Yestim, at the moment, the only realistic competitor with a realistic chance of attempting to overtake Elite Shots is Elite Shots. Wow, just really trying to take these last couple of turns here and really put some distance between him and Yestim. It's up to 5.2 now, 5.5 I should say, of an interval. Taking these relatively broad turns in section 2 without slowing down too much, hovering at around 5th gear, shifts down to 3rd. Going to take the mini straightaway here. Let's see if he really opens up the throttle. As a matter of fact, he punches the overtake, just trying to get a few extra seconds of speed burst. Shifting down to 2nd to take that looping turn, and then it'll be into, here we go, pushes the overtake on the turn heading into the straightaway in section 3. So hammering the overtake, pushing it as high as he dares go, pushing 11,000 RPM here. Not quite getting there, but pushing all the way through. And we'll see Yestim about 5.1 seconds behind, barring an absolute disaster. We should see Elite Shots pull through here on the final turn. Here we go, Elite Shots all the way through with the waving of the checkered flag. We have 3 minutes now left in the session. So Yestim comes in second, 4.8 seconds behind Elite Shots. And let's see if Soldier One Assault or Mello Soldier One Assault did, in fact, overtake at the last second. So with a 0.2-second gap between Soldier One Assault in the gender reveal special and Mello in the red car of doom, we do have a penalty on Hiram Pelosi for 3-second penalty for multiple warnings. Most of the field now has finished. So Tariel has finished in 9th. Gilvin Brito, about 10 seconds behind Tariel. But we'll see if Gilvin does finish. He will be the last racer today to earn points. So Gilvin here. All right, well, that'll wrap it up for the session here. As you can see, we've got, yes, Gilvin will finish in 10th. That will finish out the session. So driver of the J is Joni Happy. All right, folks. Well, there we go. That was a quick 10-lap race in Shanghai. Only took about 25 minutes. So, again, Elite Shots coming in first gets 8 points. Yestim Takifaini, 7 points. Soldier One Assault with 6. Mello 111, our lone Argentine with 5. Force One Paolo with 4. Joni Happy for Team McLaren with 3. Casio with 2 points, followed by Hiram Pelosi in 8th place with 1 point. So do forgive me, I misspoke earlier. 10th place did not get points. So there we go, folks. That is the first race of the day. Let's check out the race director. Anything wild? No. Gilvin Brito did have 2 separate uses of medium tires. Soldier One Assault medium. Boris Doito medium as well. Most folks, as we expected, sticking with soft tires. Woo! Listen to that thunder outside, folks. Fun times. All right, so here's the second race of the day. Again, in China, it looks like. It's in China. Of course it said China on the broadcast there. So we're going to be treated to a second race here. Not sure if we qualify again or not, because, again, I am a Texan who knows shockingly little about motorsports for a man who has been asked to broadcast an e-racing league. So I'm having a delightful time, however, given how fun this has been, watching the drama, watching all the wild collisions, seeing all the crazy overtakes. It's a fun time. This has been a great experience for me doing this sort of thing. But we do have a few minutes as we wait for the other players. So we'll go ahead and take a brief pause here. Or not. We'll just go right to it. All right, so we're waiting for players here. Here we go. Kicks right off. Elite Shots. This is a longer race here today. 28 laps, and Cassie appears to be maybe not fully connected yet. The negative 2.3 here. So we've got our longest race of the day. We do have a caution out in Sector 1. Gilvin Brito, a 5-second penalty for a severe one. Casio now disqualified from the session for parking in a dangerous location. So let's go ahead and take a look here. We already have the cautions out in Sector 1. Cassie 03 disqualified from the session. That is unfortunate. We do have a safety car out already. I feel fairly confident that poor Casio just did not connect in time, and the race kicked off without Casio even getting the option to start, because I saw no movement from the car at all. We've already got the safety car out this lap. A longer race now. We've got 28 laps for this second race. So altogether, our racers will have raced 30 laps today. We already have penalties again for Hiram Pelosi and Gilvin Brito. So let me go ahead and get everything set up here. Get the interval, followed by the tires for the details, telemetry enabled, lap data enabled, full track map. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. So Casio 3 has left the session. Unfortunate experience there. So you can see here on this straightaway, our racers, especially Elite Shots, whipping back and forth, warming up those tires. Now, Elite Shots taking an interesting approach here, using hard tires, which is one of the reasons why he's whipping back and forth so hard, trying to warm those tires up in the straightaway, especially on a lap where we have the safety car out. A good use of his time. As a matter of fact, the only other racer here today using heavy tires, or hard tires, I should say, is Gilvin Brito. Everybody else, except with the exception of Tariel, who is using soft tires, everyone else using medium tires for this race. Gilvin Brito and Martins Carlos swapping around. We're seeing some movement in the 6th and 7th positions. So you saw some swapping about. So safety car still out this lap as we enter lap 2 of 28. Again, this race about 3 times as long just in terms of lap time as the first race, which was, of course, a big old sprint, which we saw Elite Shots just dominate from the get-go. We'll see if he's able to do the same thing here. Early indications, maybe so. Of course, it's very early. Elite Shots about 2.7 seconds ahead of Yestim. Again, of course, we have the safety car out, so not much going to be going on while the safety car is out. Golly, wouldn't that just be the greatest job in the world? I think I talked about this some in my broadcast last Saturday, but being able to drive the safety car, everybody's got to obey you. Everybody knows you're important. You've got a really pimped out ride. Lots of fun, I'm sure, for whoever is the lucky son of a gun who gets to do that for a living. And all you got to do is drive the course. It's a sweet, sweet gig. Nice work if you can get it. So here we are, of course, with the safety car out. As you can see in the bottom right corner on the racing, on the track map, the whole field has compressed, as you would expect when you get the safety car out. So we're seeing this here. Yestim about 0.3 seconds here. Some possible race strategies powered by Amazon Web Services. Maybe looking to shift tires in the mid to late teens. We'll see if anybody takes the advice of Amazon Web Services, those possible strategies for the pitting. Safety car still out. Elite Shots having to be careful not to accidentally overtake the safety car. All right, we do see some movement here. Later on, 6th and 7th place, we see Boris Doito, Johnny Happy, Hiram Pelosi, Gilvin Brito moving back and forth here in the back half of the pack. All right, Gilvin Brito and Mellow 111 choosing to pit very early on lap 3. And there everybody moves on Gilvin Brito. So pit complete. Gilvin Brito now moving back out. Mellow same, pit complete, moving back out. Safety car still out here on lap 3. Oh my goodness gracious. Safety car out here for a good long while. But when the safety car does take off, I expect that we will see maybe Yestim, Soldier 1 Assault, Force 1 Palo, the competitors closest to Elite Shots, attempting to make a move, attempting to overtake. Because again, earlier in our first race, if you're just joining us, Elite Shots with soft tires, 10 lap, just a blitz of a race, grabbed a hold of first place at the very beginning from the pole position and never let go, held on to it for all 10 laps. So maybe hoping for a repeat performance if he could stay in the lead for all 38 laps today. But of course, Yestim not safety car in this lap according to the race control. All right, so the safety car is in this lap, but we have the yellow flags are gone. You can see, of course, the safety car disappearing off into the draw distance. Elite Shots, again, weaving back and forth, trying to warm those tires up. Make them a little bit more malleable, a little bit looser, get a little bit better handling, especially after we've had so much time there with everybody just compressing down as a result of the safety car. All right, the pack is nice and tight, and the safety car is out of the race. So here we go as we start to head into the first straightaway. Here we go. Elite Shots hammering it down, taking that first turn maybe a little wider than he'd like. But here we go. The race is back on. Elite Shots out in first, followed by Yestim, who's just 0.2 seconds behind. Behind Yestim, Soldier One Assault in the gender reveal special, about a second behind. Force One Palo, 1.5 seconds behind him. As we get back to the racing. Of course, the entire field here maybe starting to sort of spread out a little bit. It's a little bit difficult to tell because with these turns, you can see so many racers bunching up but then spreading out. It's very hard to tell until everybody kind of starts hitting straightaways how far apart they really are. Elite Shots taking some of these early turns very sharply. Interesting to see, not really hurting his lap times at all, as he's about not lap times, his intervals, he's about a little over, about half a second ahead of Yestim, as we can see. Soldier One Assault, of course, behind Yestim. All right, now it looks like everybody's not doing the weaving anymore, the weaving warm-up. So the sparks flying off of the back of Elite Shot's car. Oh, and he brakes hard coming into that turn. All right, nearly a close call. Yestim riding very closely, directly behind Elite Shots. And here we go as we head into the final turn of lap 4. Again, still Elite Shots out front with a 1:36.515. Again, another fastest lap of the day for Elite Shots. Taking these turns almost robotically with sort of a calculated precision here. Again, the field relatively compact here. We're not seeing a ton of spreading out. As a matter of fact, we'll go ahead and we'll switch it to leader interval. As a matter of fact, looking at this here, Johnny Happy in 11th place, only about 12 seconds behind Elite Shots at the very front. So, like I said, a relatively compact field here today as everybody is working their way through, and I just had to turn down the volume in my own headphones here. The roar of those engines on these F1 cars, almost overpowering. Very impressive, of course. Marvels of engineering are these Formula One cars. You love to see them. You love to see them race. And, of course, in a pretty clean race thus far. Here, lap 5 out of 28. Tariel and Force One Palo battling. Tariel in that Jacksonville Jaguars car, overtaking Tariel and, overtaking Force One Palo, pushing up on ahead. Now about 5.5 seconds behind the leader. Gilvin Brito and Boris Doito also swapping places. Gilvin Brito just barely getting in front of Boris Doito. Boris Doito maybe trying to make another move on the inside, but he's not going to be able to make it happen. So we've got DRS enabled according to race control. So here we go. Fastest lap now. Gilvin Brito with a 1:36.289. So Gilvin with the fastest lap of the day, interestingly enough. Gilvin Brito making another move, pushing up past Boris Doito. Boris Doito and Martins Carlos kind of battling it out there. And it shakes out. Boris Doito makes his move. Mello One and Hiram Pelosi also battling here. We can see Mello One falling behind a little bit as Hiram tries to push out his advantage, moving through those early turns in Sector 2. All right, so let's jump back up to the front here where we have Yestim trying to maybe look for something on the inside of these turns with Elite Shots. Elite Shots, though, not really giving him any room to maneuver. 0.2 seconds behind is Yestim from Elite Shots. Swings a bit wide. That's going to cost him a second here. All right, so Elite Shots, again, trying to maintain this lead over Yestim, pushing it 0.7 seconds now ahead of Yestim. Soldier One Assault just 2.1 seconds behind Elite Shots. Then we start to see the field really open up. Tariel 6.1 seconds behind the leader. Force One Palo 6.9 seconds behind the leader. But again, Elite Shots holding on to first place, giving no quarter to his fellow racers. All right, so again, DRS is now enabled so drivers can activate their drag reduction system, which opens a flap on the car's rear wing to reduce drag and give trailing cars a speed advantage of maybe 10 to 12 kilometers per hour to make an overtaking move. Now remember, they're only able to do that under certain conditions. The system's only enabled after the opening 2 laps of the race. They have to be within 1 second of the car in front of them to activate it, and they can only use them within certain zones, which are going to typically be found in the straights. All right, so Joni Happy, 19 seconds behind the leader. He's chosen to go into the pit. We'll see, he's switching to, it looks like, hard tires. He's got 0 laps on those, so he's switching to hard tires. Elite shots of Jestem Taki here, battling very tightly. As a matter of fact, Jestem has overtaken Elite Shots, so excellent move by Jestem there, as we just saw, overtaking Elite Shots. That's the first time Elite Shots has not been in the lead all day long as they fly through the straightaways here. Looks like DRS enabled here for Elite Shots, trying to make an overtaking move, but not really gaining any time on Jestem. Jestem about a half a second ahead of Elite Shots. Elite Shots tight cornering there. All right, here we go. Overtake again active for Elite Shots, looking for some sort of advantage that he can get on Jestem. And he's able to do that. He's within a second of Jestem, only about 0.7 seconds behind. All right, here we go. Pushing, about down to 0.7 seconds again, but not really seeing much in the way of change here. We do see a position change here. A little bit of a collision there between Force 1 Paolo and Gilvin Brito and Boris Duito. We do have a caution out in Sector 1. A little bit of bumper cars there. 4th, 5th, and 6th, and maybe 7th place even, as we are on lap 8 out of 28. We do not have a safety car out, so cautions, but no, the race is going to continue as the race directors let it go through. So we saw a little bit of jostling for position there. Nothing disastrous, no terminal damage, and that's what you'd like to see. You don't want to see racers losing out on the race. So let's take a look here. Lap 7, here we go. Let's find out what happened. Exceeded track limits for Gilvin Brito. Exceeded track limits. So actually, I stand corrected. Maybe it just looked like a bit of a collision with to me earlier, but all of our collisions came on lap 1 when we saw Mello 111 have collisions with Joni Happy, 2 of them as a matter of fact, which resulted in warning. Joni Happy, a collision with Mello 111, which was a warning. Hiram Pelosi having a severe collision with Joni Happy, which was a 5-second penalty. Gilvin Brito, a severe collision with Tariel, which was a 5-second penalty. Again, though, all of those on lap 1. So right, as a matter of fact, at the beginning of the race, because we see Casio 3 with a parked in a dangerous location, which was a disqualifier. So that was all on lap 1, very early in the race, right as our racers were getting out of the blocks, starting out in the grid. So, oh no. Folks, I regret to report that it looks like the race director has glitched out on me again and I can't exit it. I've got the same damn problem I did earlier a couple of races ago, and I hate to report this. I am not going to be able to get back to the regular races here. So, oh my goodness gracious. Well, folks, I do apologize. This is embarrassing. I've encountered now the same glitch, despite having no problem with the glitch earlier, so I don't know what the issue is. I am so sorry. But we can see here, the grid here, the current position, Jestem out in first place, Soldier 1 Assault in second, Force 1 Paolo here, Elite Shots having fallen to 10th place, if this is reading correctly for me. And yes, it's not letting me it's not letting me exit the race director. So while I'm on here, let's figure out what the hell the problem is. So let's see. F123 stuck in race director. All right, let's see here. Yep. It says if you play 2+ races in one gaming session, then the menu overlay freezes and you have to Alt F4. Well, I'm on Xbox, so I don't have the option to Alt F4. Apparently, this is a problem. According to the Steam community, this has been a problem since last year's game release. Oh my goodness gracious. Race is happening in the background, but on-screen UI not accepting inputs, not able to click on anything. Only way to get out was to Alt F4 and then reload the game. Oh dear. Ugh. Well, let's see if there's a workaround. Well, we'll see if the glitch with menus and race. Yeah, all menus frozen, races background. Stuck in loading screen. Startup screen plus full menu walkthrough. Game crashing. Mm. VR mode stuck. That's not it. Stuck in race director. I think that they may have stopped updating this game months ago. Ugh, dear. We've got some big thunderstorms going on here in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex area, so I do apologize if you are seeing this. So we can again here at least kind of keep up with what's going on as we look at the results for this race rather than the sprint or the weekend. So Yestim Takifaini in first place with a best lap time of 136.624, followed by Soldier One Assault in second. Gilvin Brito in third, Mello 111 in fourth, Boris Doito in fifth, Martins Carlos in sixth, Hiram Pelosi in eighth. Oh, that is a bit confusing. That is the position, despite their position on the track, I suppose. So we've got Mello in fourth. In seventh is Boris Doito. In sixth is Martins Carlos. Eighth is Hiram Pelosi. Fifth is Elite Shots. Ninth is Tahariel. 10th is Force One Palo. 11th is Joni Happy. 12th is Casio, who, of course, was disqualified, but does finish with 2 points. F123 patch notes. February. Okay. Well, I do apologize, folks. This is aggravating, and I am so sorry. Obviously, not the way I wanted the rest of this to go down, but I can still keep broadcasting from here. Given that we do have, I believe, a relatively significant amount of time left. I don't know what number lap we are on because I don't have access to that information here. If we check out the race director drivers, we can know what their grid status was, the number of stops they've had. We can talk about the incidents, of course. Again, a relatively clean race. Last warning was on lap 12 for Tariel for a 3-second penalty. And we've seen some pitting here. We've seen Tariel pit from soft to medium tires. This lap, or lap 12, Gilvin Brito also pitting on lap 12 from soft to hard tires. Boris Doito pitting from medium to hard tires. Oh, my goodness. Well, I do apologize. Again, this is embarrassing, but as you can see, I don't have a B button down there in the bottom right. So even with me smashing that B button, there's nothing I can do, and I can wail uselessly on the triggers for no effect, unfortunately, which is aggravating for me, and I'm sure it's aggravating for everybody else. So I guess that is going to have to be a thing. If we have a situation where in the future I am part of 2 races in one day, it looks like I'm going to have to quit out and restart so I don't get caught in this bizarre menu bug. I don't know what to tell everyone. And I do apologize because this is not what I wanted to have happen. I enjoy broadcasting these races. I'm flattered, of course, that I have been asked to continue doing them, or to do them in the first place, I should say. But this is just some bizarre glitch that let's hope is resolved with F124 whenever that is released. And of course, F124 release date, let's see what the release date on that is. It's supposed to be next month, a little over a month from now, on May 31st, 2024. So hopefully, when eventually the game does switch over, we'll be able to use that and have some fun with that. And hopefully, this menu glitch will be a thing of the past at that point. Not too much else to report here in this lap, whatever lap number we are on. Again, this is a 28 lap race, so I would expect we are about into lap 14 or 15 at this point. So I would expect we're about halfway done at the race. The current status is in first place, Yestim Takifaini in first, 0 stops thus far. Soldier One Assault in second. Again, 0 laps thus far. Elite Shots in third, 1 stop thus far. We'll see exactly what Soldier One Assault did, maybe. He's on the medium tires right now. As a matter of fact, we are headed into lap 15. So Soldier One, Soldier One Assault, yes, having his best time today on lap 4 when he finished with a 136.824. Medium tires the whole way. 0 stops for him. Elite Shots riding for Team AlphaTauri today. 1 stop. Looks like he swapped from hard tires to medium tires in lap 9. So did pick up a warning on lap 15. So we're a little over halfway done with the race today. I will keep it here on the results page in the race director because that is where, of course, we could see things as they're actually kind of happening. And unfortunately, since I won't really be able to provide live commentary, all right, not really seeing much change here. Again, Yestim still in first place. And again, Yestim, I do apologize for completely mispronouncing your name the last couple of races as Jestim Takifani or something like that. It's apparently pronounced, if Google Translate was correct, Yestim Takifaini or something to that effect. Something closer. That was definitely closer than whatever it was I was trying to do previously. So, I do apologize for butchering your name the whole time. But as he pointed out to me, it's actually, of course, Polish, which is not something that my West Texan tongue has had much practice with or much cause to experiment with. So that has been a fun time butchering that name, and I do apologize. I don't believe that I have mispronounced anyone else's name. Maybe Hiram Pelosi, if it could be pronounced Hiram Pelosi, Haran Pelosi, Hiram Pelosi. I don't know. Wherever the emphasis happens to be, and I might have placed the emphasis upon the wrong syllable. Gilvin Brito, I think I probably got his name right. Boris Doido, I feel certain I'm pronouncing Boris correctly. Not so certain about Doido, but that I there, I don't know how it would be pronounced in Portuguese. So I'm just guessing, based on my extremely limited Spanish that I took, how it might be pronounced in a different language entirely. Um, Tariel, I don't know if that H is really pronounced. It could be Tahariel, Tahariel, Tahariel. I don't quite know, and I do hope that I haven't been butchering that name too much either. Tariel is what I've been going, and unless told otherwise by Tariel, I'm going to go ahead and stick with that. Joni Happy, I think I've probably done the same thing. I don't know if it's Yanni Happy, but the fact that happy is an English language word tells me it's probably Joni. It could also be Johnny, but if it was Johnny, I'd expect to see an H in the first part of the name or a second N. But yeah, so we shall see. We shall see. But again, racers, if you do have any issues with how I've been pronouncing your names, if I've just been completely mispronouncing or butchering them, please do let me know. I mean, y'all have been nice enough to have me along, and I don't want to butcher your names if possible. Well, seeing as how the field is more or less in stasis at this point, as we are well into lap. What lap are we even in at this point? And I can't. Well, I can view Yestim's super license, but that doesn't really do me much good here. So we'll check out the race director. We'll see here. Okay, so Soldier One Assault is in first. Okay, so it's the drivers. This page that I need to be on. I apologize. So actually, in first place currently, it's Soldier One Assault in position one, followed by Elite Shots, followed by Force One Paolo, Gilvin Brito, Yestim Taki Faini, Mello 111, Boris Doito, Martins Carlos, Tariel, Hiram Pelosi, Joni Happy, and then of course Casio 03, who was disqualified. Again, I think that was a connection issue, given that it appears that the car never moved at all, which is unfortunate. In the meantime, since looks like yeah, I think I have to keep it here on the driver's page to actually get the updated information. In the meantime, let's play some Wordle because it's hard for me to commentate over a mostly static screen. So, Wordle, for those of you who don't know, and I imagine that's probably most of the folks from Brazil and anybody who's not a native English speaker. So, Elite Shots would be the only one who I'd expect to know what Wordle is. It is a game in the New York Times where you have 6 attempts to guess a 5-letter word. You put in your first guess, and it gives you results on a per-letter basis. You are told if the letter is in the word, but not in the right position, in which case it is yellow, or if it is the correct letter and it is in the correct position, in which it is green. Now, this became a big deal, if I recall correctly, coming out of the coronavirus sort of stuff. And it took off, and it's I would say it's not necessarily as popular as a crossword, but it's certainly quicker and easier to finish. And I do it every day. As a matter of fact, I just took my first guess here. I guessed clues, and of course you have to have a 5-letter word, and I've got 3 letters, including CLU, but none of those 3 are in those positions. So cluck would be out. That is clearly not the word that it was thinking of. So maybe Lux, although S is not in there, but we do swap around LU and C into different positions, and we also get K in there as a possible letter. Ooh, okay. So we do have LUC. I guessed Lux for my second word. And we do have LUC now, which means that, let's see, if I had to guess, I can only think of one word that starts with LUC and has 2 letters at the end. My guess is lucid, which is LUCID, and I haven't guessed I or D yet, so we'll see if that is indeed the word. Lucid? That's it. So, yes, got lucky early on and guessed it on third, which is a little early. I think par is usually 4 guesses. So, gratifying win there in Wordle for me today. Looking back at the field, we still have Soldier One Assault in the lead, Elite Shots in second, Yestim Taki Faini in third, Gilvin Brito in fourth, Mello 111 in fifth. I will admit, if Mello 111 had at any point gotten disqualified for any reason, I had been in the back of my mind considering yelling afuera, which I'm sure all of our South American competitors today would hopefully find humorous. I'm sure they'd get the reference if I yelled afuera when someone got disqualified, but that seems perhaps a little bit too mean-spirited. So we've got that going on. After Mello in sixth place is Boris Duito. Seventh place, Martins Carlos. Eighth place, Hiram Pelosi. Ninth place, Force One Paulo. 10th place, Tariel. 11th, representing Portugal, Joni Happy, racing for McLaren. And of course, at this point now, we've seen some pit stops. Most competitors having pitted at least once. Soldier One Assault pitted once. Yestim Taki Faini, we've got a yellow flag out. I just saw that in the background there. Yestim has pitted once, as has Boris Doito, Martins Carlos. Everybody else has pitted twice. Elite Shots pitting twice. Gilvin Brito pitting twice. Mello 11, 111, I should say. Hiram Pelosi, Force One Paulo, and Tahariel, and Joni Happy also pitting twice. So we've seen, here we go, actually. Elite Shots looks like he's pitting for maybe a third time, shifting from hard to medium to soft tires. Using up four sets of tires on the day, Elite Shots is. So we see Mello 111 overtake Yestim Taki Faini, move into third. Soldier One Assault still in first. Elite Shots again won the sprint race going away, just with an absolute hammerlock on first place. And here he is. He's still in second place. He's had 3 stops, but he's still in second place. So excellent racing today from Elite Shots, the sole British competitor in today's field. I am sorry about this glitch again here, folks, because as you can see, if I try to back out of the race director or out of this menu, I don't even have the option to do so, which is quite aggravating. So let's see. At this point, we do have a couple of more incidents to run through. All warnings, it would seem, mostly about exceeding. As a matter of fact, the last couple of laps here, from laps 17 on through 22, which is what we're on to now. So we've got about 6 more laps to go. We have just exceeding track limits given out to Boris Doito, Elite Shots, twice to Tariel, and once to Gilvin Brito. So just exceeding track limits. Again, a relatively clean race today. Most of our competitors still in it. I still remember the first race that I called was just an absolute disaster class. Many racers, not even, as I recall, we didn't even have 10 racers finish that particular day. Lots of retires, lots of terminal damage. That particular race having so much going on when it came to the weather and the crashes and everything else that it was quite wild to watch. So again, let's see. Fastest time today goes to Yestim Takifaini in fourth place currently, or in fourth position, with a 134.047. Most people not particularly close to him, although Elite Shots, as you might expect, with a 134.729, so 7/1000ths of a second, or 7/10ths of a second within Yestim Takifaini's fastest lap time. Martins Carlos in sixth place, Force One Paulo in seventh, eighth, Boris Doito, Hiram Pelosi in ninth, Tariel in 10th, Joni Happy in 11th, and of course, Casio was disqualified for parking in a dangerous location. Again, I do believe that happened to be a glitch or some sort of error where, as a result, Casio did not connect in time because Casio's car, from what I could tell on the race cam, never wound up moving. So an unfortunate situation for Casio, but he does at least finish the day with 2 points. So far today, our point standings include Soldier One Assault with 6 points, Elite Shots at the top of the pack with 8, Mello 111 with 5, Yestim Takifaini with 7, Force One Paulo with 4, Hiram Pelosi with 1, Joni Happy with 3, and of course Casio with 2. That is our current standings points-wise today. Now we do see, it's difficult to tell because it has the position up and down arrows, but it's hard to tell how long those have been there, since I believe they have stayed that way for the vast majority of the time. Just over an hour and 10 minutes into the two races today here now. It is currently 4:11 p.m. here in the U.S. Central Time Zone where I am broadcasting from. Let's go ahead and check the race director. Let's see if we can get a good feeling for how many laps in we are at this point. So our last incident was on lap 22. Bit difficult to know now exactly what lap we are on. Because we just get the status, the grid, the stops, and the tires, spelled, of course, with a Y. Very European spelling here. Yeah, so we're on at least lap 25. We are closing in on the end of today's race. I am going to keep it here, and we shall see exactly what is happening. Elite Shots now, however, back in first ahead of Soldier One Assault by only about 0.3. Oh, excuse me, that's the best lap time. It does not have the plus or minus, so I do apologize. I can't tell you the separation, the gap between Elite Shots and Soldier One Assault. So Elite Shots making a late play here, really looking to finish first place in both of these races today. So as you can see, the weather is now clear skies here in Shanghai. We'll see exactly how this all shakes out, and this is going to be about as much a mystery to me as it is to everyone else. What is the end of this going to look like? I'm not certain, because we have seen, unlike the first race, which was a 10-lap sprint with Elite Shots holding that thing the whole time. We do have a yellow flag out again, just again caught in the background there, and I do apologize. I'm having to wing it. Because this is not normally how I would prefer to broadcast this, staring at the race results screen, which is the only thing I believe that is live updated here. So again, though, relatively clean race, only one competitor not finishing, Casio, who was disqualified rather than dealing with terminal damage, which we've seen multiple times in past races that I've had the pleasure of broadcasting. So we are down to the last few laps. We'll see if Elite Shots is able to hold on and actually pull off the double win today. Soldier One Assault, though, trying to make sure that doesn't happen. Mello 111 also in third. Also trying to make sure that doesn't happen. Yestim Takifaini, one of our handful of European competitors today, hailing from Poland for Team Aston Martin, still owning the best lap time. So a nice bonus for Yestim, assuming, of course, he's able to finish today. I would expect he will. We have not seen too much in the way of collisions. There's been no terminal damage. We'll see what the final results are going to be, but we've got to be getting close to the last lap, if indeed we're not already on it. Everybody having pitted at least 2 or 3 times today, the exception being Martins Carlos, who has pitted a grand total of once, but he started out in grid slot 11. He has moved all the way up to 7th place. We are seeing some penalty flags for 3+ seconds there for Tariel and for Gilvin Brito, it looks like. Of course, again, I would expect that to be just a multiple warnings exceeded track limits kind of thing. And heaven knows, I have been invited a few times now to race for Grid Charlie, excuse me, and I have declined to do so because I, A, don't have the time, B, I am certain that I would be an absolute menace on the course. I would be some sort of kamikaze-like figure in an F1 vehicle, just slamming into people, objects, places, things. I would probably wreck the safety car somehow if given the opportunity to do so. So I do appreciate the invites, but I am thinking that I'm going to pass on participating in the races. But again, I'm flattered that the dulcet tones of my voice are apparently not so irritating that you would happily have me race alongside you, screaming and cursing and doing all manner of things in my own headphones. So we've got to be getting close here. We absolutely have to be. Let's check the race director. It is a shame that I can't directly tell what lap we are on. All right, so our last warnings to Yestin Takifiani for exceeding the track limits, giving the multiple 3-second warning for multiple warnings. That was on lap 26. So we are down to the last 2 laps here. And currently, again, Elite Shots in first place. Soldier One Assault not too far behind. Elite Shots, however, does take the best lap time today. Now with a 132.831. He's the only person to breach the 133 line, almost a full second ahead of Soldier One Assault's best lap time. Yestim Takifaini with the 134.047 was holding that, but now Elite Shots has taken it and is still holding on into first place. Will Elite Shots be able to finish out the second race today with 2 first-place finishes and the fastest lap time? We'll see. Today, just the sun might be smiling on the British Imperial today, with elite shots, because my goodness gracious, he has just torn this track up out here in Shanghai, doing extremely well, not really making a lot of errors. Yes, in the second race, people like Yestem Takifaini and Soldier What Assault have been challenging him, but each time he's managed to reclaim first place. So coming into the last couple of laps, and again, I do so wish that I could tell you, I would love to be broadcasting this, looking at the actual honest-to-goodness race footage. But again, because the game is glitched out, because I don't have the ability to swap between racers, I'm having to look at the race results screen just before I could click into the race director, just kind of broadcasting and giving my general thoughts. Now, we've got some more penalty flags out for Jestem Takifaini and Gilvin Brito, 3 seconds each in third and fourth place. So, and we also have one out for Tariel in 10th place. Again, I would expect those to be exceeding track limits. Maybe there was some collision between Yestem and Gilvin. Hard to tell, again, without being able to really see what's going on. Oh my goodness. All right. Well, we've got to be getting close to the end here. I'm very curious to see what's going to happen when the race does finish. Another penalty flag out for Yestem and Gilvin, or unless it's repeating that from earlier. So if so, I apologize. It's hard to tell because it will flip back and forth between the flag times 1 plus 3 seconds and then throwing up a plus 30 seconds on the time. So is that the checkered flag? That is the checkered flag, it looks like. And it looks like we are going to have, barring a last-second overtake, Elite Shots finishing in first place, I believe, followed by Soldier One Assault, followed by Yestem Takifaini in third. There we go. Okay, so that was correct. Our winner today, again, for the second time today, Elite Shots, pulling off the rare double win. Rare, if perhaps nothing else. Driver of the day, Gilvin Brito. Rare, as I was saying, if perhaps nothing else, because there's not too many double races on the schedule. So excellent, excellent job here today by Elite Shots, bouncing around, having some fun times. And I do recall some wild stuff happening here at the winner's circle on the podium. Well, I think I recall seeing somebody levitating last time. If I remember correctly, that was an experience. We'll see if anybody chooses to T-pose for dominance. No, okay. So here we go, folks. Our winner today, twice Elite Shots, now with 34 points. Soldier One Assault with 24. Jestem Takifaini in third with 22 points. Force One Paolo earning 12 points today for 16 on the season. Gilvin Brito with 10 points for 10 points all in all. Boris Doito finishing with 8 points for 8 points overall. Hiram Pelosi getting, let's see here. Hiram Pelosi currently in 7th with 7 points. Mello 111 in 8th place with 5 points. Joni Happy in 9th place with 5 points. Martins Carlos in 10th place with 4 points. Casio 03 again finishing today disqualified, I believe, because of a technical issue with 2 points. And Tario with 1 point. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you once again for coming up and following us today on the Brazuca E-Racing League broadcast. Once again, my name is Sterling C. Beard. Thank you for joining me. And again, I do apologize about today's technical difficulties. I tried to make it as entertaining as I can, even though I did not have the ability to see anything. So thank you again for joining me, and have a good afternoon.